Okay, gang, I'm gonna up the difficulty on this one. So now, it's implicit, right? Because there's two y's blended into the equation. And it also has a product rule here and a product rule here. All right, so now you're going to see me mix all the rules together, okay? So I might have product, I might have quotient. So you'll see that. You'll see some of the old rules pop up now. Okay, so I'm going to start with product rule on this one. So first part times the derivative of the second piece, derivative of the second piece. You can write y prime if that's what you want to do. I'm going to write dy dx, start to get you used to it. All right, first times derivative of second plus now the second piece times the derivative of the first. Derivative of x is 2x. All right, so that's the product rule for the first term here. All right, now I'm working on this one. I got to do product rule again. So first times the derivative of the second plus now the second piece times the derivative of the first. Now this is a little challenging because you got to take the derivative of this. This is two layers. The first layer is doing the derivative of the 2. So you're going to say 2y, don't put a 1 here. This is where it starts to get confusing. That's going to say y prime in calculus if you put a 1 here. So the 2 just comes down. We know that this is a default of a 1, not a prime. Okay, and then we have to take the derivative of the y itself, which is dy dx, or you can write y prime. So if you write y prime, you can see why this starts to get a little confusing because you'll have 2y y prime. Right, that's not a 1, and you don't want to put a 1 here because then it looks like you're gonna have double primes. So you sort of get the point of what I'm saying. Okay, and then this equals 0. So I just think you'll avoid confusion if you just start using this new language, and you'll actually start to like it after a while. It's a nice way to write the derivative. Okay, you might think I'm a little too optimistic, but I think you might like it after a while. Alright, I always like to clean things up a little bit before I start to simplify. So the derivative's done. And you guys probably recognize my style. All math people have like their own little, you know, I'm trying to think what the word is. Little, you know, little ways they do things. Okay, alright. Alright, so now the idea is the final answer when you handed it on the test is I want you to tell me what dy dx is, right? We're looking for y prime. And at the very end, you actually have to isolate who y prime is. So if you remember literal equations from intermediate algebra, that's basically what you're doing now. You're just manipulating the data. So I'm going to move anything without a dy dx to the right because I'm trying to isolate dy dx. So anybody without a dy dx, I'll move to the right. Order does not matter. So who you write first does not matter. What does matter is you get the correct plus or minus in front of the term. Okay, so since these were positive on the left, when I move them to the right, they have to become negative. All right, and we don't quite recognize this at first, but you're looking for dy dx, and dy dx is now common in both of these terms. It's common in both of these terms, so you're actually just going to take it out now as a common factor. So if you have y prime here, you're factoring y prime out as a common factor. All right, we're almost there. I'm now going to divide this off to the other side. Now, this answer is technically done. It's perfectly correct, but I'm just going to make a suggestion here because we're getting to the point, like, the end of this chapter and the next chapter, we're going to start applying these. So it's actually easiest for you if you, just like I would factor out the negative y in the top. And I would factor out the x in the denominator. Let me just make sure my brain did that right. Okay, and the reason being, you don't have to do this at all, and your brain might prefer this. I'm strongly of the belief that you should do it as long as it's mathematically solid, the way that it resonates with you, because, you know, that's sort of like your particular style. But for me, and this to me is like a more simplified form, and it's easier. So now if I set this equal to 0, or I'm solving it, or I'm plugging into it, this is like a quicker, cleaner form to plug into to me, but that may not be to you. All right, so this is fine. I'm just going to circle this because I just think this format is this is ready for use kind of thing. I just want to get you used to it because you'll have to do this in this format when we start solving. All right, gang, that's example 2. I'm going to come back and do some more. I think let's do some trig. Oh, yeah, I can hear the excitement over there. All right, catch you soon.